right. So in our podcast series, You Can Be the Change, and in that series, Family and Beyond, we have today with us Suchi Jain, who is a proud mother of two young girls. One in the college and one getting ready to be in the college. So we'll be talking more with Suchi, trying to understand how and what she did to raise such an independent girls. So thank you, Suchi, for taking out time to to talk to us and enlighten us with your parenting skills. And also, I have with me Taran, of course, who is also a mother of two young boys. But she actually said that yes, we would want to hear from you, your experiences, and we would want to also understand what really it takes to kind of grow up to young kids. So why don't you talk about yourself, Suji? Tell us about more about you and talk about your young girls to us.
Thank you, Subenda. Thank you for picking me up for this podcast. And I don't know if I can advise anyone. It's always a challenge. Like parenting is always different for everyone, and you just take it as a wing and just go with the flow, kind of a thing. So yeah, as far as my daughters are concerned, like my older one is graduating from college, and my younger one is a high school graduate. Her graduation is actually tomorrow, so we'll see.
Congratulations.
How's it gonna be? Thank you. That's it. What else was your question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we go from there, but yeah, right. I mean, two young girls. So one in college, one just graduating from high school. So it's been a journey for you, right? I mean, it would have been a journey where you might have gone through the times when you it would be like, okay, now what should I do, and what should I, how do we take care of these? So just tell us about your journey of raising these two girls, such beautiful girls.
If I have to beautiful, I guess it's genetics. Yeah. If I have to think about like, okay, like I think about them as being very strong-willed. They know who they are and they know what they want. So that is a really, really good thing to see in any kid, to be able to let you as a parent know that this is what I want and this is not me, right? So I think the whole process, if you think about it, it's not a day's job or a thing. It's like years and years of grooming them. So if I have to break that down, I just say young years, maybe till elementary school, and then the teenagers, maybe let's say middle school, and then obviously kind of an adult, which I'm still going through. I don't know. It's in store for me in that. So if I think about elementary years, like my main focus was raising like good human beings, right? Those who understand like how to navigate in public, don't hurt people or say bad things or whatever, who may possibly do not get into fights, uh, who are focused in like studies. And it, that was the main criteria if I think about the major ball, if I think about it. And I guess in those years, yes, there had been challenges. A very funny story that I also tell my girls. One younger one is a late bloomer, but obviously my older one has done, I experienced it, and then my younger one doesn't. I'm an expert in it. So what happened was, as in order to make them responsible for their task, and their task is just to be like do homework, just to be good in whatever they're doing, like academics or non-academics, right? So this my older one comes up in kindergarten. She's still in kindergarten, and she comes up and tells me that you don't have to do homework. That one page homework that she used to get, you don't have to do it, and nobody gets into trouble for that. I said, okay, don't do it. And she carried it on for a week. And comes the next week, Monday, and I saw her sitting with her homework and doing it. And I asked her, what happened? You do you don't get to play in the recess time, so it's better to do the homework at home. So that was her conclusion, and that's how it was done deal with her. Okay, and I happened to have, during pickup time, met the teacher and asked her what went, and she did told me that, oh, she's got into track. I noticed that she wasn't doing the homework and blah blah blah. Slipped off my mind completely. Fast forward to 6 years, like when my younger daughter was in second grade, or maybe 8 years. So when my younger daughter is in second grade, she did the same thing. She comes at home and she tells me that if you don't do homework, nothing happens. And I'm like, okay, and okay, don't do it. Fine. And then 2 days later, her teacher writes me an email saying that I noticed Nikita is not doing her homework. What happened? Are you aware of it? And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I know, but let's give her 10 more days and see how long she doesn't do the homework. I'll, in the meantime, use different tactics to make her understand that this is her responsibility, this is her stuff, and if she doesn't do it, uh, that's it. It's her problem, not mine. She would be the one who would pay for it, right? And I wrote it to her and said, have patience and do whatever you have to do to make her understand, and I'll work on my thing. Again, it happened to be Monday, and the next Monday I get the same input. And how I get is, teacher didn't tell me, but Nikita is doing homework. So I'm like, okay, we're good. Since that day, like for both my kids, I have never ever asked them that I have you done the homework? Do you have tests? Have you studied? I have never followed up with them. I actually never know if they have all those things. So that was the elementary phase, let's say, like keeping up more into that. Comes the middle school. Middle school has different kinds of challenges. So I think it goes with any kind of middle schools over here. Phone becomes like a very, I don't know, now it must be changing. It probably has come into elementary, but for my older one and the younger one, phone, like as soon as they got into the school, they need phone, right? And it was a scary thing for me because all you hear is all the bad things. Okay, if the kids have phone access, they will not listen to you, or they will call whoever or whatever, and all that scary thing. So it was kind of difficult phase. Then what I did was, at, around that time, was like just trusted in terms, okay, you get the phone, but these are the guidelines that you're going to follow, wherein I am going to always like research and tell you that whatever app you download to communicate with your friends or play games or whatever, I will tell you that what settings have to be done and why it has to be done. And I think I might have done it for 2 or 3 times for both kids at different timeline, of course. And it worked out. They became smarter than me. Now I don't know. But again, on that part, I would also say that school always plays a really good role because I know for sure in public school they always have all those kinds of programs and for kids where they tell them how to be a safe browser and how to like safely go through the internet and everything, all that sort. So yeah, so in shorter version, I can say that even though I was like hovering them a little bit over them, but I did give them independence. I always gave them like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and why I'm doing it is because of this reason, right? And I guess that they appreciated it, and yeah, I think that helps them to make their own decisions as well, because these kids are not dumb, they are more smarter than us. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you brought a good point, Suchi, that, not, and I would say in terms that, not to micromanage the kids, or rather just being like, after them as to what, but giving them their space and letting them decide for them what is good or what is bad, instead of you just telling them. Yeah, I think holding hand at times, like guiding, being a guiding person is okay, but telling them all the time right or wrong, like as you said that, during school they were not doing homework, you were not going like kind of crazy that, oh, they are not doing homework, rather than you let them figure out when it is right time to do the homework, which meant, of course, 10 days sitting at peace. And which I believe some parents, like if I would have been in your place, I would have been going mad, like what's going on, why are you not doing your homework? But I
Yeah.
think that's something, kind
I,
of.
I think it's the age. Like every age, you have a time limit. Second grade is not going to matter if you look at the bigger picture,
Yeah.
or kindergarten is not going to matter. Right? So that's
Yeah.
what you have to, as a person, as any individual, we have to keep reminding ourselves. Step back, think about it. How's it going to look
Yeah.
10 years from the line? Would it matter? Not matter? And I
Yeah.
think that gives a lot of peace
Yeah.
to your own mind. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that is independent of the gender of the kid, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so I think Taran would agree on this as well, right? I mean, of course, she's a mother of two, and with an age
Mm-hmm.
gap also. So, different two, and not all kids are same, right? Even if like, same family, they're two different personalities also, right? So you're
Absolutely.
having to adjust also.
Absolutely.
That's what I
Absolutely.
was going to ask Suchi Bhabi next is how do you deal with different personalities of the girls? I'm sure because I have the same boys, but it is very different. Both of them have totally opposite personalities. So, can you give us some tips regarding that? How have you been navigating?
I have, that's a really good question. Okay, so when Nikita was young, I probably would not have, when the girls were young, I probably would not have mentioned it right on their face that you girls are like how it's going to be different, right? But when they became older, like now or maybe 4 or 5 years down the line, I always tell them that so my older one is a procrastinator. She'll sit on things for the longest time and then her brain works and then she'll deliver, right? My younger one is different. She will do the task right away. Like she doesn't leave it to, she works as if there's no tomorrow, right? So both the personalities are very different. Both the personalities have pros and cons, right? So I had to really juggle my things. I give you an example. In high school, I wanted my older one to take like difficult classes, honors classes, because I knew she can do it, right? But if you look at how the school structure is, you don't have to. The kids will mark their own forms, and that form never comes to the parents, right? And it goes to the school, and she did that even after I asked her that she was so she comes back and tells me that that's not for me. The English honors is not for me. I cannot read like novels or Shakespeare's or something like that. Right. So, so I had I had to literally tell her, man, you have to work hard. If you work hard now, the same thing, right? Then you will reach the results in the future and all. And now we go back 4 years, 5 years down the line, and I tell my younger one, who is taking like all the hard classes, and I'm telling her that you should drop, you should drop fun in life. And my older one is sitting right there, and she said, "Why didn't you never told me that when I was that young? What do you say?" So I had to literally like like tell them upfront that, man, this is how you are and this is how you. So I have to cite examples, like, so that they don't feel bad that I'm favoring. Like, that's a very big thing that we have to navigate as a parent.
No,
Still
no,
not
absolutely.
successful
Yeah.
though.
That I see with boys. I mean, it's same with kids, any kids, right? There is that whole
Yeah.
comparison that they start building in their mind, which you have to be
Yeah.
very careful
Yeah.
about.
So I had to like literally cite an example to my older one. See, this is you sat on one project, and what time you started that project in high school? Like at 11 p.m. And I'm already dying, and you needed my help in that particular science project, and I just sat through and helped you, like gluing whatever you wanted me to glue. So did you know that you had a deadline? Did you forget? And she accepted. I procrastinated. Like that's really big thing. I think the kids, she was so vocal about it because they know that like she made some statement like this. We don't go and like, why did you do that? Never. We just let it be and just move forward. I think that these little kinds of incidents here and there, like keep telling your kids that what's your personality, like why I'm saying what I'm saying to this one and why I'm saying the other thing to the other one, or maybe just telling the like for my younger one, I always keep telling her that why don't you learn from Didi and understand how she like manages not to have a stress for doing things or for not doing things for that matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to be like definitely the kids are smart and like second, third grade, you can have an open talk if they come up with these kinds of questions, and they will always. So this is some recent example I remember.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I think you also mentioned about, and I think what I heard from is that having that belief system, right? I mean, having the kids know that, you believe in them. And, I think that's also very important because if the kid it's himself or herself are in a doubt, and then you also start doubting them on their decisions, I think that also impacts, right? I mean, so having like as you said that, you let the girl be, and then she herself said that yes, this is what I did not do right, or I should have done it right. So having that belief in them is, I think, very important for a parent also to learn, right? I mean, it's always a learning with every kid, right? I mean, like as Tarang was also mentioning, right? No code two kids are same, and you learn as a parent also every time, right?
Uh-huh. I think learning is something that you can never stop. Like if
So
you
true.
stop, you do not exist. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Every day I'm learning. Every day I'm learning from you guys as well. Something somewhere we will pick up on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, having like a belief, like believe them. So that has to be like as a parent, I know everyone knows that what is the limit that you're not supposed to cross and what is the limit, how what's the width you can go in. So once you understand that, I think you can let the kids play between those lines, and that's the best way to handle any and every situation.
Yeah. No, and I think that was my next question, or perhaps the last question, unless Taran has another, was that what advice you would give to the parents like who are getting onto this verge of, and I know with this millennial kids and these Gen Z kids, all that, and there is always this kind of a friction going on that, how to raise a child. So what kind of an advice you would give, Suchi? Now you have two independent girls in the house, so what would your advice be?
Wow, that's a heavy loaded question. I think as a parent, I would say you have to be observant. Like every parent knows their kids, and every kid knows their parents. Believe me, they they will manipulate if need be. So it goes both ways. Right? So, and one must, so when I say parent, it has to be both husband and wife contribution towards raising the kid. There, one main thing I think me and my husband followed was like when my kid tried to play around that. It's a very funny thing. So my older one, she was hardly like 3.5 years old maybe, and she wanted to have more TV time. And obviously, I said no. And she went and asked her dad, and he said yes, because obviously, whatever he was thinking. Yeah. And then I come and ask her, like, who gave you the permission? And she said, Papa did. Okay. So then I observed that thing like a couple of times it happened, and I asked for support from my husband, saying that you have to make sure that if she comes waddling in and asking for something, you should first find out that what I have told her, or has she checked with me, right? And that rule we followed for both the girls. I think that so a lot of problems happens in family where the kid doesn't listen because it's favored by mom or favored by dad. So all those things can be controlled there, and you would be able to like put a lid onto it where the kid listens to you, like listens to you in terms like if one person has said it's a house rule, nothing is gonna happen. I think that made our life very easy for both of us as parents. And so on the topic of being observant, things you would notice that they might be very innocent at a particular age, right? But after a certain point in age, those things, if at all a kid doesn't, it won't be that, it won't be considered as acceptable. Now, I'll give you an example, a very simple example. Like what happened was my younger one comes up and tells me a story, and it's a good story. She can play with birds and everything. And it happened to be her Didi was getting in trouble because of that story. So obviously things happened, scolded my older one and everything. And then I think my younger one was hardly 5 year old or 4 or 5 year old then, not more than that. And we were just sitting, and she comes up and tells me another story that what Didi has done to her, and it's so mean. So whatever she said was actually a very mean thing to do to a young, to anyone, to a kid. Right? And I was like furious. And then suddenly my gears changed, and I said, okay, can you tell me the exact situation? What happened? Where were you? And blah, blah, blah. I started working on that. By the time she came up with that statement, and I asked her, are you sure that Didi said exactly those words? And she comes up and says, no, I think she thought about it. She never said those words. So I guess during my inquiry, she felt like okay, Mama is getting down at to the bottom. So I guess the crux of this thing is like don't believe everything your kid does. You have to go and shred information out of it, and you'll get a bigger like you will. It will be funny like how it comes out. So yeah, those were like little things that as a parent you have to be cautious enough while raising kids, because kids are kids. We are humans, they are humans, and yeah, that's how it is.
I know, and I think with your experience, a lot of other parents or aspiring parents can learn from as well. Suchi, Taran, do you have any other questions to Suchi?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you so
Yeah,
much
okay.
for
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much,
girls.
Sochi, for your time and really appreciate your time. And as I always tell my guests, this is, of course, we've done it once, we'll do it more with you. So,
Mhm.
so stay tuned. But thank you so much for your time and sharing your journey of being parent to such beautiful and young girls. And I'm sure a lot of people will hear it and learn from you. So, thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, dear. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Take care. Bye.